right? Support the activists that are calling for this thing. The plan, though, is a wet noodle. It's not even a real like funding ask or anything like that. So I think it's very important that if you are going to be commenting on these things, that when we talk about this like 1 billion a year for 10 years, that's the hogwash. That's it should be like a 30-40 billion dollar investment to meet the scale of this problem. And we have a bunch of data to explain, but it basically comes down to this concept called a DALY. And a DALY is a measurement of how much workforce is lost based on certain disease. So it's essentially burden of disease. And it was actually Dr. Al, I'm still saying his name wrong, I call him Dr. Z, still say his name wrong, but it should be easy. I'm bad. But Dr. Z's study, who did the multiple infections, spoke at Congress, talking about long COVID risk. So in his study, he explains that the burden of disease outweighs the burden of heart disease and cancer combined, but that actually does not properly demonstrate that it is 3 times more greater burden than either heart disease or cancer. So basically, heart disease and cancer both come in at about 50 DALYs, which is interesting how it seems like 50 DALYs is like the acceptable loss.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for clarity, DALY is disability adjusted life year. It
Right.
combines years of life lost due to premature mortality and years of life lost due to time lived in states of less than full health. That's 50 years of life you're talking about.
For every 1,000 people.
Right.
50 years of life lost is an acceptable amount of loss because I'm sure the money they lose by not exploiting that labor is less than having to spend the money to prevent that loss.
But
I assure you that they have done those calculations.
Right.
I know they have.
It's a really gross idea, but it's similar to the term the cost of doing
Right.
business.
That's
Mhm.
exactly what I mean. When we talk about long COVID, though, in reference to government funding, if someone's being a true long COVID advocate, they should be speaking to the scale of the disease properly.